All right, going nerd glasses today. Dallas Mavericks don't really have a whole lot of news. The Summer League roster is set. A couple of names to look at would be Jonathon Motley, who's been with the Texas Legends, who play up in Frisco for a couple of years now. He's a big, fairly athletic. He's a decent shooter, not a great shooter. Lots of hustle. He's a guy who's going to get a lot of rebounds. He'll get on the offensive boards, things this team desperately needs, but I just don't know how he makes the roster unless he just has an unbelievable summer and they think he's a better fit for this team going forward than Salah Mejri. That would be my only guess for him. The player that will be most exciting to watch will be Jalen Brunson. He's going to get most of the run at point guard. They might move him over to off guard to see what he could do off the ball, potentially to play alongside DSJ and Luka. So you could have kind of that 3-guard look, but with size, obviously, with Luka being able to defend small forwards. So they may move him over there and put in somebody who just is going to get the ball to him to see what he can do at off guard. But I expect to see a big summer league run from him. I think he's going to be their best summer league player. Luka and DSJ are not going to play very many minutes. My guess would be, 10 minutes for DSJ and probably even less for Luka. You can see me tearing up too much pool time yesterday. So that's Mavericks Summer League. The other two big topics, obviously, right now in the NBA, since we don't have a whole lot going on with the Mavericks, it looks like they're pretty set. They may look at some trade options with Matthews, but I really think nothing's going to happen until probably around the trade deadline. The two big issues right now, what are the Lakers doing? There just seems like they're rounding up a bunch of randos to play alongside LeBron. I don't know how much say LeBron has in bringing in those guys, but Lance Stevenson, which I think is hilarious. Obviously, Stevenson and LeBron have some history in the Eastern Conference playoffs. And then they brought in Rajon Rondo, which I thought was very interesting because obviously Lonzo Ball, a lot of people think that he's the future point guard of that team. And if that's the case, then why do you bring in Rajon Rondo? I don't see how Rajon Rondo doesn't make the starting lineup over Lonzo Ball, unless he's just going to be around for the preseason to work Lonzo Ball out, and then they send him off somewhere for something else. I don't know. That's just very confusing pickup to me. He was cheap, and he's a good player. If you don't think Lonzo Ball's the future, and if you have plans to trade Lonzo Ball, then I could see why you pick up Rajon Rondo, and that could be the case. I definitely would keep an eye out for potential Lonzo Ball trades. I just don't know who wants him. Who wants to deal with LeVar? So the Lakers, lots of stuff going on. Keep your eye on them. And the other one, obviously, is Kawhi Leonard, and where does he go? After DeMarcus Cousins signing with Golden State Warriors, the biggest piece right now is Kawhi Leonard. He wants to go to LA. I'm still confused about what's going on in his mind in terms of the Lakers over the Clippers. Does he want to play alongside LeBron? Does he want to have his own team? I think he feels like Pops is the San Antonio Spurs, and I think he wants some of that spotlight, and he doesn't feel like he's going to get it because Pops is going to be there for a while. They're not firing Pops over Kawhi. So, I don't know. Would he be better off going to the Eastern Conference and teaming up in, let's say, Toronto or Boston or Indiana, something like that, and having a big year there for 1 year and then trying to work a trade to LA? I think that's a better possibility than the San Antonio Spurs trading him to LA. I just don't see why San Antonio would do that.
San Antonio's trying to get better. They're not really trying to reset things. They want him to stay there. He doesn't want to be there. Pops has gone out to visit him, and apparently that did not go well because Kawhi basically strengthened his position on moving to LA, getting traded to LA. I just don't see San Antonio trading him. So I think this may end up being a trade that goes down to the trade deadline, and I just don't think San Antonio is going to get what they want. Sounds like they asked for about half of the LA Lakers team, and LA is not willing to give up at least Kuzma. I think it's interesting that they didn't make it very clear that they weren't willing to give up Lonzo Ball. That seems to be telling to me is they're not sold on him. And I think the Rajon Rondo piece is another reason why they're not sold on him. So I would keep an eye on that. I think Kawhi Leonard stays in San Antonio for the time being. It will be very interesting to see if he plays at all in San Antonio. If he decides to sit out, I think that would be a bad idea on his part. I think San Antonio's hoping and believes that he will play hard, thinking that he's going to show off that, you know, he is one of the top 5 players in the league and that somebody should come get him. And San Antonio's hoping that that's the case, because then they can say, well, we've got a top 5 player in the league. You're going to have to give us, you know, 2 first-round picks, a young star, and probably, you know, a couple of, maybe a second, 2 seconds, something like that. I mean, they're hoping to get a really big return on Kawhi Leonard. So those are the things I would be looking at right now. I think it's interesting that Philadelphia has been trying to make all these moves and hasn't been successful. I wonder if that's a concern over coaching. Obviously, Philadelphia's got a lot of young talent. Why wouldn't somebody want to go play with them? So, going to be active in trying to find some pieces. And they have been, but they just haven't been successful. Mavericks, we'll see. I think it's another rebuild year. I really hope that we do get a top 5 pick, because obviously we lose our pick to Atlanta if it's not top 5. Until next time.